Hello, class, and welcome to the final major writing assignment for this course. This is going to be a persuasive letter. I recognize that the college essay is not the only type of writing you will be doing in the future, so we want to include something maybe more practical outside of the college setting. That is why we're going to talk about the persuasive letter, the purpose of it, and how to address the message and the reader within this assignment. So let's look at the assignment itself. The first thing I want you to note is that a lot of the things that we've talked about in the previous essays is going to be applicable to this letter. And the main thing is concrete evidence. We don't want to make any unsupported claims, and we still want to make sure that everything is supported with factual evidence. We'll also spend the next few weeks learning about different ways to appeal to a certain audience. We're going to learn about things like ethos, logos, and pathos, and other components of a persuasive letter that might either share or be different with that college essay. So for this assignment, you'll choose not only the message that you want to give, but you will choose the audience also, and then you'll determine some type of action that you want taken based on your letter. It should address a real-world audience and a real-world situation. In the past, I have had a student or two that want to write to their dog or some fictional character. You're not going to do that. You're going to write to somebody specific with a real-world problem. Some of the problem topics in the past have been things like religious topics or topics in which the writer is so passionate that they forget to look at the audience or the reader, and they tend to be too emotional over reason and over evidence. So you want to make sure that you choose something that you do care about, but can still maintain an educated or academic tone. Lastly, it says that you don't want to just bring awareness to a problem. You actually want to provide a solution. So we are writing with that solution in mind, and that should be one aspect of this letter. The elements of the letter are listed here. You want a reason for writing. You want your statement of purpose, which will kind of be like the thesis. You'll have your evidence to support that statement and the desired action. So make sure that you have all four parts here, and I'll post a sample that you can look at. Your audience is going to be chosen by you, and it should be pretty clear who your audience is. If you're writing to, say, your boss, you'll use that boss's name. Now, this doesn't mean you can't change the name in order to maybe protect that person's privacy, but there will be other types of audiences that maybe you don't know the name. You might be writing a college application, or you might be applying for a job. In that case, you might refer it to HR or the hiring committee. But we'll need to know specifically what audience we're writing to, because that can change our message. In addition, there'll be no outside research that is allowed for this essay. So it should be a problem that's specific to you, and you don't want to look up articles on EBSCO. You won't be allowed to use Google. So it needs to be a personal problem. You have to have the reason for writing this letter. The format of this paper is going to look differently than your previous papers. We're going to start with just a single page, which is a single spaced in block format, which means you're not going to be indenting your paragraphs. I'm going to give you a sample of block format so you can see how to set up this paper. We do want to cover one full page. If there's white space at the end of the page, that can cause your grade to be lowered and your writing to be less effective because you could have included more evidence. You also don't want to go on to the second page, especially if you have just one or two sentences, or even worse, just one or two words. It looks really weird going on to that next page. So you do want to keep it on one single page. The format should be Times New Roman in 12-point font. You want the date and the recipient's address. Again, if you want to protect that person's privacy, you can put a different address, but put that at the top of the page. And then this could be in first, second, or third person. So where the evidence is coming from your experience, you definitely can use first person. Second person, if you know who you're writing to and you're writing specifically to them, you can use second person. And then third person, if you want to look more objective or maybe outside of the issue and are reporting it more than on personal experience. The due date for this assignment, we have the rough draft that's going to be due on May 4th, and then we will have the final draft due on May 10th. So you're not going to have as much time to revise after the peer review. So just be aware of that May 10th date. The reason I've given this date is because I need to get your papers graded quickly and then input not only this paper, but your final into that final grade for the end of the semester. If you have any questions, please let me know ahead of time and I will be happy to answer them. Also, feel free to use my office hours if needed. Again, the office hours are 2:30 to 4 on Monday through Thursday. And there is a Zoom link from the homepage on my Neosho that you can click to use those office hours. Good luck.